Here we go. Rock and roll. Welcome back to It Takes Two. Amy Eiler, JJ Gordon on the Mighty 790 and 104.7 FM KFGO. One of my favorite things is to have a little bit of book talk on the Mighty 790. And with me right now, I've got two authors with their second book out. The third book means I'm a whole book behind. Two books behind. I've got Rachel and I've got Kim. Welcome to KFGO. So happy to have you on today.
We're happy to be here, JJ.
Okay, so let's talk about connections a little bit, okay? So Rachel, like Broadway Joe, you're connected to him. He's one of our favorite people here at KFGO and on The Fan.
Yes.
And you still claim him.
I have to because of tax reasons.
Good move. Yeah, the double deduction is fantastic.
Yes, it is.
And then I happen to meet Kim. And so, like a small world, I happen to meet Kim because Abigail's one of the Don Quixotes, actually one of the most talented of the improvisers in that club.
Thank you. She's pretty funny.
And we talked books one day, and I recommended a book to her that I've recommended on KFGO before called The Dictionary People. That is out of this world. And
she's talked about that.
Yeah, and she came in and she's like, this book is great. And I was like, oh, yeah, I love when a young reader like gets excited about something.
Yes.
Especially something outside of the norm, right? Mm-hmm. So let's talk about writing first and foremost. So writing partnerships. How does that work? Because I know I've seen enough Murder, She Wrote that I know that Jessica Fletcher sits and types it out herself. But she doesn't have to talk about plot points and character pieces, and she doesn't have to be on the same page as somebody else.
No.
So talk to me about what it's like to write together.
Well, we kind of complement each other. Kim
Definitely.
is wonderful with the big picture and plotting and coming up with these amazing ideas, and I'm good at kind of getting down to the nitty-gritty of the actual...
Adding the meat.
Yeah, adding
getting
the
to the
meat to
beef.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
So really, if I'm thinking about this correct, Kim, you've got the idea for the structure, the beginning, the middle, and the end, big character moments and stuff like that. And Rachel, you come in and you actually fill the pages. So it's not a 6-page book. It can be a 100-page book.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
So I will often write like the bare bones of a chapter, and then Rachel will come in and fill in the details, then add the banter, flesh it out.
Right.
Yep.
So it's not a sunset, but the sun or the sky was painted in gold and hues and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of comes together like that a little bit.
I like the color commentary.
It's
color
beautiful.
commentary.
Beautiful
of writing.
imagery, JJ. Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about book number 1. Give us the title.
Yours always.
Yours always. How do you start writing a book to begin with?
Well, okay, so Rachel and I worked together for several years, and we were always like bouncing ideas off of each other. So it would be, I would read that book, or I would watch that movie, and
it would be a good Hallmark movie with a lot of our
or a good
ideas.
horror movie idea. And one day I sent her a text, and I was like, "What about this?" And she goes, "Kim, we have to write that book."
Yeah,
and we did. So
we
started writing
right during the pandemic.
Right at the beginning of COVID, yeah.
And, COVID affected a lot of people and relationships, and this was one that neither of us were willing to give up, and we just said, what can we do to make sure that we're in our lives, each other's lives forever?
Forever.
So
we signed a contract.
We're legally bound friends now.
Good, legally bound friends.
Yep.
Okay, so I think that, there are people out there who've started a book and it's taken them 30 years to get to the midway point of it, right? How long does it take you to write that first book?
It took us 2 years.
About
2 years. Because we had no idea what we were doing. Sure. It was just something that we were kind of doing for fun. And
do either of you have an English degree or anything like a creative writing background?
No, I mean, I enjoyed writing. Yeah. We both love reading. We love
voracious readers.
Voracious. Yes, voracious.
Look at it. You're even filling in the color commentary here.
That's exactly how it goes.
And we've just kind of found a groove. I mean, it definitely took us a while to figure out what worked for us. There were many drafts of our first outline, and we had to go back and rewrite chapters because we would be, this sounds better. And so it would affect the things that happened in the beginning of the book. So we have come up with a way to kind of minimize that. We kind of figured that out with book 2. Yeah, it's kind of that we found our groove.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And I assume you're not sitting together at two typewriters, in some office somewhere. You're using technology to be separate and then together at times?
Together, we are in Rachel's garage.
Oh, really?
With our
Yes,
laptops.
we call it Friday Night Writes.
Yes.
Yeah?
Where we get together in my garage and we both have our laptops and we...
And our coffee. Or maybe a beverage.
Yes.
And
Okay, so I have to know this. What's the title of the third book?
Inevitably Yours.
Okay, so I see that there's a theme going on that we've chosen. Let's get into a little bit about, are these all the same? Is it the same story continued, or have you built a universe?
We've built this little small town called Amber Falls in Massachusetts. Our first book starts with 3 core friends, and 2 of those friends, not discovering, but finally getting together. And then it's just kind of grown from there. So then the next friend finds his match, and then the third friend finds their match. And
So it's nice because when you fall in love with the characters in book 1, they continue on to books 2 and 3.
Yes.
So you get to grow with them as they grew with us.
Now,
And
you don't want to jump into book 3 then, right? You could, but maybe a little richer for the process if you read the other 2 first?
they're standalone. I would say that they're standalone.
They are standalone. Book 3 is about Annabelle and Sebastian, and their banter in books 1 and 2 are...
It's spicy.
Amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
for sure.
Yep. So you absolutely can. I would consider them standalone, but it wouldn't hurt to start with book 1.
So right off the bat, I'm thinking, okay, so you have a character named Annabelle and a character named Sebastian. Those are not fun names to type, over and over and over and over again. I would pick people like Ed and Sue. Just, blur, easy.
Ed and Sue do not sound romantic.
Not at
Who
all.
wants to read about Ed?
We'd much rather read about that bastard Sebastian Law.
Yeah, right?
Language, young lady.
It's all right. So the FCC says you can say that.
Okay.
Okay. What's the biggest argument you've had while writing these about no, it's got to be this. It's got to be this.
The only thing that I don't bend on is I don't like when somebody gives a character a name and then they only refer to them as a nickname throughout the rest of the book. And that's the only thing I said to Kim. I said, if her name is Annabelle, nobody's going to call her Anna. When we type out her name, it's going to be Annabelle the whole time. Prudence will be Prudence, not Prue. So within dialogue.
Somebody could call her Prue within dialogue, but then it is always Prudence said or Annabelle said or Grayson said. So when we are narrating it or we're writing the narration for the dialogue, the name is always spelled out.
That's the only thing I wouldn't bend on, and it's just completely subjective on my end.
We really haven't fought about plot points or even disagreed on.
There was a moment where it was like cliffs, bluffs, cliffs, bluffs, cliffs. Nothing like that yet?
Like I'll say something like, for example, Amber Falls is supposed to be considered a college town. So it's very near Amherst University and Boston and
Massachusetts.
Right. And I think I was like, well, he could fly into Boston and then fly to Amber Falls. And she's like, I have to look and see how long it would actually take, or she is a very precise like that where I'm like, who cares?
We've had a really
reading.
cool thing on KFGO where many years ago we started writing these radio plays. And we created a fake town called Kepler, North Dakota.
Nice.
And the guy I wrote these with, we drove to 25 different small towns. And we were like, okay, well, we like this part of this, but we don't like this. What are the commonalities? What are the things everywhere? And so our first one was called Last Exit for 20 Miles. And it was about a bunch of people getting snowed in on Christmas Eve
love that.
in a diner. I'm not going to lie. They are phenomenal radio plays. And then we had people who came back every single time. And you introduced new characters. And
so you get writing a universe, creating a universe.
And understanding that, I had a film teacher once who told me an interesting thing about characters, which is if it's a book, if it's a television show, if it's a movie, it doesn't matter. You are seeing a small snippet of that life. And so if you think about it like a row of pictures, you can only see picture 10 through 15, but that means picture 1 through 9 has already existed, which influences where you're at, and then the pictures afterwards exist.
Yes.
And I've always kind of carried that with like, yeah, you're only seeing this snippet of these